Hey guys, so today we're going to be breaking down this whole idea of the 2-5, one of the most essential progressions to really understanding how jazz is put together, but really just helping our theory in general, and also just giving a way to kind of practice through these guys so that we really have the gauntlet figured out, these kind of 2-5s that are going to chain together. And basically what we're going to be doing is chaining them together in whole steps. So I'll do a little quick overview on just what the 2-5 is. And then just to point out real quick, we're going to be following this sort of diagram here. So once we have them, like this, for example, is a 2-5 D minor 7 to G7. And we would expect that to resolve to 1, which should be C. But we're going to chain it instead. We're going to make that 1 a minor. And that becomes the first chord of the next 2-5, down a whole step, C, F. And that resolves to B flat. We make that a minor, so on and so on. And we can carry that chain as far as we want. So let's get into it here. We'll get down to the nitty gritty. First things first, I think a lot of y'all know this term, 2-5, but we want to be sure we understand the theory behind it. Really all we're doing here is looking at a scale. If we deal with the C scale. And if we think of 7th chords being built up in skips from the bottom, there they all are, beautiful. We can number those guys. You know, the first note in the scale would give us the first chord that we could make there, so that would be called the 1 chord, of course. And then here's one of our special guys. This is the 2 chord. This is D, F minor 7. All white keys there, again, because from the key of C. We'd have the 3 chord, the 4 chord. Here's the other one, the 5 chord. Coincidentally, the only time we get a major 3rd and a minor 7th in our chord, so we call it a dominant chord, the 5th note. The 6th chord, the 7th chord, and then we get back to 1. So a little quicker here. Again, make sure you guys have this pretty well locked in. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And those are all the diatonic chords we can make, at least out of the key of C. So we want to take 2 of those, which are going to be the 2nd chord we made, which will always be a minor 7 chord if we were doing a 4-note chord there. So the 2 chord is always minor 7. We're going to go up to the 5 chord, which is always a dominant chord. And our ears expect dominant chords to resolve like that, going back to the 1 chord. So that's how we want to hear it. So in its most bare form, it's going to be this. Magic. Okay, so when we're actually playing, we see 2-5s quite often. We see them quickly, too. So it's not quite practical to be jumping around like that all the time. And a lot of us are comfortable with inversions. Our first instinct would probably be to do this for the G7. In jazz, there's an easier way than that even, because in jazz, piano players are not required to play the root. So instead of coming down here and playing this transition, I'll spare you the whole voicing talk, but really what we need are the 3rd and the 7th, which are F and B for G7. So instead of the root, I'm going to play the 9th. And what that allows me to do here, so I'll show you, this is G7, this would be the 5th, the 7th, the 9th, and the 3rd. Those are the important ones, that's the color. So from D minor 7, I'm going to play that root position, and then I can just drop my thumb down. Makes for an easy voicing, dropping the 7th down a half step, and then I'm going to resolve that there. So it allows me to get that whole progression very close together, very smooth, sounds good, stays out of the way of the right hand, so it's kind of a win-win. So that's going to be our template for this entire exercise, really. For each minor 7 chord we do, the next movement will just be down a half step from the top, the 7th coming down, and then we're going to resolve it, although we'll be going to the next minor 7. Okay, so that's the deal. So let's talk about why these are so popular. Again, we're cycling through. By the time we get that chord going on, we've actually played every note in the C scale, and the C scale is the perfect complement to the entire 2-5. So instead of having to think like, oh, D Dorian, G Mixolydian, C major, those are really all different flavors of the same group of notes. So instead what I can do is say, oh, D minor, G7C, that's the key center of C major. And as an improviser, I can just hang out on my C major scale. That sort of thing. Let's take it to just a plain scale exercise. So we should all master this guy would be step 1. It goes like this. Something along those lines. So I'm starting on the 7th on the C, doing the scale up, changing on the chord. And you can have a little freedom with the end of it. But again, you just want to be comfortable, and a lot of you are, with both how to do the chords and then being able to float the scale against it. So that's that one. Now, it's one thing to be able to say, oh, I know what a 2/5 is. I can do it in C, all that good stuff. But as a lot of you know, in real life, those guys are going to come flying at you nice and fast. They're going to be in every key. They're going to require us to know every scale and how to get through them. So we could practice these around the cycle. That would be one way. But I think the way that's a little easier is to chain these guys together down in whole steps. And because of the way these cycle, we're going to break them into 2 sets of 6. Because after 6, if we're doing whole steps, they repeat. So I've written those out for us here, and I will probably send you guys a copy there. But this is going to be the first one that we do. We're going to start on A minor 7, and then this is the key center. This is going to be G. And again, notice how this wants to resolve to G, but then when we get there, we're going to make that a minor chord and then start the next 2/5. And notice these go down in whole steps. These are the key centers, right? These are the progressions that'll go through. So I know it looks like a lot. There's 12 of them all together, but yeah, just take them in chunks and we will get them. So let's talk about the chord side of it first. I'm going to be in the left hand. I'm going to start with A minor 7, and this would be the 2/5 for the key of G. So that means I have my F sharp involved. I'm going to go 2, 5. I'll just head down a half step. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to resolve it, but that's the one. So we're only going to do the 2 and the 5 chords. So A minor 7, D7, and then instead of G major, I'm going to go to G minor 7. I'm ostensibly in the key of F. Drop the 7th, that's C7, F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat minor 7, A flat 7, C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7, and then the last one will be B minor 7, E7. So I'm trying to do those slow. If you need to cop those notes, it's a lot to learn there, but you want to get those to where you can call them up pretty easily. So we'll go a little bit faster this time. I'll try to just keep a half note beat. So ready, go. So 1, 2, drop the 7th, drop the 7th. Here comes F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat minor 7, all black keys, A flat 7, C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7, B minor 7, E7. Pretty slamming. And then I'm going to put on this slowed down funky drummer beat. And that'll give us a little bit of timing here. We'll do each chord for 4 beats here. So nice and slow, but a little funky. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, that's D7. G minor. Here comes C7. F minor 7, B flat 7, E flat minor 7, A flat 7, C sharp minor 7, F sharp 7. One more. I'm going to do B minor 7, E7. Sweet. Okay, and again, take as much time as you guys need to kind of get comfortable with those, but that's, you just want to, get to where they're no problem there. And it takes me a little bit of thinking through them too, but practice is really the only way. So the next level on this is being able to kind of keep your right hand involved too. And this is where it starts to get a little bit complex. So we're going to play those guys, but our right hand is going to do the scale from the key. So what's confusing here, you're playing an A minor 7 chord, but you're actually going to be in the key center of G major. There's that F sharp up there. So if we're going da, 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 and then here would be, I'm going to move these up an octave, but just to keep them in the frame. So G minor, we're going to go down to F. Right, and here comes, where are we at? F minor 7. That's E flat on the top. D flat. And then B. hey. So you got to make sure your scales are pretty much up to snuff with this stuff too. So again, it's a lot of gear grinding mentally, but these are the building blocks. Once we have these in place, things start to crystallize and really become a lot clearer. So my right hand will probably go out of frame on this and start our beat again. But yeah, I'm just gonna do the same progression and try to keep my scales going on up here. And I'm gonna call out the name of the key center, not the chords. And again, we'll do 4 beats apiece. So here we go. 1, 2, ready, G major. F. E flat. D flat. B. A. That's the idea. All right, cool. One more time. A little bit. Let's do 2 beats per chord. So here we go. G. F. E flat. D flat. B. Cool, and that's probably a little quick to start with, but again, just something to shoot for. All right, cool. And then there's another line there, which would be the other 6. That line's actually partially a little bit easier, but yeah, let's go and move down to there. So I'll talk you guys through this real quick. This is the 2-5 for F sharp. We're gonna start on A flat minor 7, kind of a tough one. Excuse me, A flat, technically C flat, E flat, G flat. What do we do? Drop the 7th. That's going to give us voicing for D flat 7, F sharp minor 7, B7, E minor 7, A7, D minor 7, G7, C minor 7, F7, B flat minor 7, E flat 7. Cool. And again, notice these roots. Always a 4th away going on. And that's, some people have asked me how to recognize the 2-5. That's one of the giveaways. If you got a minor chord to a dominant chord, if they're a 4th apart, always a 2-5. Okay, cool beans. So let's try to introduce the right hand scales. I'm gonna do this without any backing track there. Again, we're starting in a weird place, A flat minor 7, but a good one to know. All right, got a tough scale too. F sharp. So, or G flat, however you want to think about it. So again, I'll do the scales one time where you guys can see them, and then we'll run them through with the track. So it's going to be F sharp, okay, going to F sharp minor 7, B7. This is the key of E, B7. Then we get a couple easier ones. This is E minor 7. This is key of D. A7 there, good old key of C. Okay, B flat, C minor 7 on the top, or on the bottom, excuse me. Sorry, key of A flat, and that's E flat 7. Let me try that again, sorry, I got distracted. So A flat. Cool. Now let's resolve to A flats. All right, sweet. So again, I know it probably seems like a huge amount in here, but again, just start with them, practice them on a regular basis, and they will become second nature to you. They're gonna be just fine. So one more time here, let's get the track going on. We'll do 4 beats a piece, and I'll run those scales with them. Just something to shoot for here. We'll go, here we go. So 1, 2, 1, 2, A flat minor 7, go. That's E. D. Messed it up. Yeah, okay. let's start over. Here we go. All right, 1, 2, here we go. And sorry, I get twisted up. 1 and D major, C, B flat, A flat, cool. So I made a few mistakes there. I was trying to keep track of everything and messed it up. Let's try again. 1, 2, here we go. So that's F sharp, E, here comes D, C, B flat, A flat. Cool. So I hiccuped, both times, just to show you. Let me stop this guy. The theory is can be there, but you getting it in your fingers, do as I say, not as I do. But it could be in there. It's just a lot to keep track of as you're going. But it's worth running through. It's going to lay that foundation so that when you're playing through these in real life, let's say you got 2-5. You see this progression going on. How do we cope with that? No problem. We know our scales. That's E, D, C. Yep, and you know what the parameters are, and then you just kind of bounce around. It's going to be good. So again, some good practicing habits there, hopefully, just to give you some ideas, and I'll send that picture along with this one. And happy practicing. Let me know how this one works out, and I'll talk to you guys on the other side. Peace.